Hey, what's up, my Dragon Legion? How y'all been? Soilder Dragoons. Today we're going to be doing a CardFight Vanguard deck profile of my current deck update of my current Kagero Rebirth Stride deck profile. Now, if you Dragoons remember, a couple months ago, at the time this video was being recorded, I actually already did a deck profile on this deck a while back ago. But back then, I didn't really have exactly that many cards, whereas compared to this time, I actually do have practically everything except for one card in particular, and that's it. Other than that, this deck is actually fully completed, and it's actually legitimately able to be played in some legitimate good Vanguard tournaments. Now, in my last video when I did this profile, I actually got a really good portion of likes. I want to thank you Dragoons very much for that. And back then, that video didn't had the deck profile where a good portion of my cards were either missing or misplaced somewhere else, or I did not have those cards as well. That's also legitimate reason why the way the deck was. I'll leave it up in the invitation or description down below, depending where it happens, for those who are interested in seeing that deck profile of that version back then. Anyways, as of this version right here, except for a few things in particular, the deck right here is pretty much the same thing as I did last video, only except this time the cards are actually complete, and I actually have a legitimate complete deck this time. So yeah. So with that being said, I'll explain my tech choices here and there, and we'll move on to the deck profile itself. So yeah, here we go. Alright, start off with starter Vanguard. Last time I did a video on this, my starter was Red Pulse Dragon Kit. This time I'm using for my starter Lizard Soldier Fargo. Fargo is actually a really nice starter for this deck in particular. He does not require Counter Blasting, which definitely helps his deck a lot. It allows you to reserve your Counter Blasting for your more important stuff in particular. And he also has a nice ability, and when you use his ability, all he does is go in your Solar Vanguard, and while your Vanguard is currently Overlord, your Vanguard gets the ability of every time this unit's attack is a hit, you can retire off one of your opponent's rear guard. So if you don't if you choose not to use the ability, that's fine. You can always use it as a lock unit card of choice when something like that happens. But when you do get the ability off, it's definitely very useful, because your Dragonic Overlord Rebirth, once you get your cross break rate going off, and you use a skill on your Overlord after you get your cross break rate off going and such, you will potentially be almost guaranteed of letting your attack at least once a hit every now and then. So Fargo definitely helps out with your rebirth plays, and definitely allows you to take advantage of being aggressive and powerful as fast as you possibly can. And also, a nice thing about this guy is that he allows you to set up combos with not only your rebirth, but also combos with this guy as well, which we'll get to very shortly once we get the stride side of the deck. So yeah, so that's the starting Vanguard right there. Now for the trigger lineup, we have, of course, your 4 heals. No explanation needed for why the heals are so important. And then for the trigger lineup, I think you Dragoons will see this from a mile away. 6 critical and 6 draw lineup right here. Be equal balance of offense and defense. Still be on offense. Still allow me to be aggressive. Be able to fix as much damage as possible, while still be on defensive and be able to draw into what I need to draw into the most. So I can be able to get to my key cards out faster, and or be able to draw into cards like perfect guards, etc. such, in order to block out some stuff in particular. Okay, so that right there was the trigger lineup. For the grade 1 lineup, we have 4 Protect Orb Dragons, just regular perfect guards with the ability of when he successfully guards out the attack and you have another one of him drop, you can unflip a card for damage face up. Now, you don't have to use Protect Orb Dragon. Just using regular, basic, everyday perfect guards will work just fine, and you can still make a key plays right there. I just like Protect Orb Dragon right here, because even though this deck is not really a heavy Count Blast deck, it does occasionally use up some cards and damage very oftenly than we expect. So by playing Protect Orb Dragons, we can take our cards face down, turn face up, so we can occasionally be able to use our big abilities, especially our little breaks time to time, all that good such. So yeah, 4 Protects, and then 4 Eternal Griffins. A nice little addition for this deck right here. For those who do not know or do not remember what this guy does, he has the ability of, when his unit is called a rearguard circle, you can pitch 1 grade 3 from your hand to the drop zone. When you do, add 1 Dragonic Overlord from your deck to your hand. Now, the ruling of this guy, I know a lot of people already know this, but for those who do not know, the ruling with this guy right here is that when you search his ability, when you use his ability to search for your Overlord, it has to be specifically Dragonic Overlord, not Dragonic Overlord the end, not Rebirth, not the Gray, or anything etc. such. You can only search for Dragonic Overlord. So one thing. So if you don't get the break right off, if you don't get your Overlord off, it's not the end of the world. You can still make your great rebirth plays from there. But this guy right here can allow you to get your get your overlords fast to your hand as fast as you possibly can, so that way later on down the road you could potentially go off with your break ride skills and potentially go off with some really nice abilities time to time. And also when he's first called out, he's actually a nice decent 7k booster, which is not really too often you see out of Kagero nowadays. Like most boosters either have most cards with most great attackers like him with boosting abilities, with who happen to be great boosters and such, normally have drawbacks where they can't be boosted, where they can't boost you from units or such. Well, this guy definitely does allow you to have that type of ability. So yeah, Turn of Griffins, still a great card to have around. And then 4 copies of your Level 4 Dragon. We are in Era of Vanguard. We're going to be striking a lot, so why not? And then 2 copies of Dragonic Gojo. I chose him over Clement Tower Wyverns because I wanted to reserve the Soul Blasting for my Dragonic Burnout, and Clement Tower Wyvern is not so bad, but it does use it when it doesn't really be. But the thing with Clement Tower Wyvern is that he's only good in a Legion. He's only good when you first call him out. With Dragonic Gojo, he's always good whenever you need him the most during your turn. And the nice thing about him is that you can even use his ability before you lock him, and before you lock him with your rebirth, and still be able to move on with the big potential plays, while still being able to use Monk's Effect to get whatever you need as fast as possible can. And that's it for the grade 1s. For the grade 2s, we have 4 Max Burning Horn Dragons. He's your 12k attacker of Overlord decks. No explanation needed there. For Dragonic Burnout, because we are playing an Overlord deck. No explanation needed with him. Soul Blast 1, put an Overlord from drive, bottom of the deck. Pop out any rearguard you want to deal with. Always a nice ability to have around. And then to finish off the grade 2s, 3 copies of Twilight Arrow Dragon. Now, a really nice addition to this deck right here. For those who do not know what he does, I think a lot of people do know what he does. But again, for those who do not know what he does, he's GB1, means you need stride at least once in order to be allowed to use ability. GB1, when this unit attacks a Vanguard while he's in your rearguard circle, while he's being boosted by a Kagero or a rearguard, you can pay a cost, which is Counterblast 1. If you do, retire any of your opponent's grade 2 or less rearguards. I believe it's grade 2 or less. Yes, one of your opponent's grade 2 or less rearguards. So, and keep in mind, this is before your opponent even decides if he or she wants a guard. So as long as he's being by playing cards like Griffin, Monk, etc. such, he actually does become an actual decent boost attacker. And then so he's swinging at least 1600 as long as you boost him with Griffin, Monk, or anything etc. such. And then right before your opponent can decide if he or she wants a guardian attack or not, you do right out the back get the ability of popping off one of your opponent's rear guards, which is always really nice to have around. Definitely gives you advantage of popping off those annoying forerunners you don't want to deal with, those annoying front row guys you don't want to deal with, all that great typical such. Especially if your opponent happens to have those special intercept you don't want to deal with, and you just want to pop them off before you go ahead charging at your opponent's Vanguard. So yeah, right now 3 Twilight Arrow Dragons does seem like the thing to go with right now. And that's it for the grade 2s. Now for the grade 3s, we have 4 copies of Dragonic Overlord The Break Rides. Or I'm calling Break Ride because this is the Break Ride version of Overlord, of course. For those who don't know what he does, For those who didn't know what he does, he has Little Break 4. When a Kagero rides this unit, choose your Vanguard, and that unit until end of turn gets 10,000 power and pretty much the Break Ride. And Counterblast 1, choose a Kagero from your hand and discard it. At the end of the battle, this unit attacks your rearguard. You may pay the cost. If you do, stay in this unit, this ability cannot be used for the rest of its turn. So what's so great about this guy right here is that when you break ride your Overlord Rebirth on top of this guy right here, your Overlord Rebirth gets pretty much a free attack by just only counterblasting 1 card and by pitching 1 Kagero that you don't even need. So by just pitching 1 card and counterblasting 1 card, definitely gives this deck a lot of advantages. And a big huge upside of what this deck can definitely do here or there. So if you don't get the break right off, it's not the end of the world. Your Rebirth on its own can still do well on its own. And of course there is the stride mechanic, so we do have some great interesting options for stride cards to stride into. So nonetheless, your Rebirth should be just fine, but it is much preferred you get the cross break right off, just for you can have the extra 13k support, so you can defend all some attacks a lot easier, and also again break right ability, so you can attack 3 times, and then potentially go for a big huge push power plays from there. So that right there was the 3 Overlords, and now the heart of the deck right here. 3 max copies of Dragonic Overlord Rebirth, limit break 4, limit break 4, count less 1, and choose one or more Kagero reguards and lock them. If the number of locked cards you have is 5 or more, until the end of turn, this unit gets plus 10 to the power and the ability. Choose two Kageros from your hand and discard them. At the end of the battle, this unit attack the Vanguard. You may pay the cost. If you do, stand as unit. This ability cannot be used for the rest of the turn and such. And it has the cross-ride ability when you have Dragonic Overlord and Soul this guy. He gains 2,000 power. So what your ideal goal is deck right here is to cross-break ride, have this guy become a 2300, and then use his limit break ability, make him to a 3300 that can attack your opponent's rear guards once, and then at your opponent's Vanguard twice. And the best part about this guy's ability, about doing this combo over here, is that it doesn't matter if your first 2 attacks was not a hit or not. As long as his first attack was a rear guard and then second attack was a Vanguard, it does not matter if the attack is hit or not. He will get the ability to stand right back up and attack the Vanguard for a 3rd time. So this gives you the ability to have 3 twin drive checks and the ability to make some huge plus plays right off the bat. Now, the only downfall to this combo is that when you get the combo going off, in order to make it going good, you have to have all your Kageros be locked in order for this ability to go off. Meaning that while you get the combo going off, you won't have anyone to attack with with him until your next turn, which is not really much. Which, by the way, it's not really much of a drawback because this guy pretty much covers your 3 attacks on his own right there. So yeah, Dragonic Rebirth is definitely a very aggressive and very powerful card right here. And yeah, so Rebirth is definitely something you don't want to underestimate. And that is it for the main deck. Now for the Stride deck, for Strides we have the 2 Divine Dragon Knights, no explanation needed with them. As I was mentioning with this guy right here, there are some great combos you can pull off with him. By using combos with Twilight Arrow Dragon, Fargo, Gattling Claw Dragon, etc. such, his ability will go out to allow you to get a free pop-off route, get the ability to pop off in our rear guard, etc. such, and just have some fun, do some great combos here time to time. So yeah. And next for the rest of Strides, we have still playing the 4 Flare Dragon Kings. No explanation needed why this is so good. Only have 1 copy. I will be ordering this next. I will be getting a copy. Once I get more money, I will be getting another copy of this card, and that is next. And that's supposed to be 2 copies of Dragonic Overlord The Ace. Ace is just a really great card. Since this is a Overlord deck, you have no problem utilizing this guy's ability. Just the fact that his first attack can be a triple drive, and then by just pitching a Kagero, and then another Overlord, and then another Kagero that happens to be an Overlord, he gains 5,000 power, and he stands right back, and he can attack 1 more time, while during that second attack, he gains 5,000 power. Now, keep in mind, you're getting 5 drive checks total out, single drive checks total out of this guy alone. So a Stride card that's giving you this ability is very aggressive and very something that you don't want to underestimate nowadays. So what the idea combo of this deck right here is to do this. So first ride into this guy, then go to Stride, go into, let's say for example, this guy. Next turn's over, this guy's gone, it's your turn again. Then you ride Rebirth on top of Overlord. Then do your whatever's with him. And then you can go for 1 or 2 things. You can either do another regular break ride, which is him attacking twice, or you can go for the Ace, or you can go for the Flare Dragon, and then one or the other will just allow you to do some plays. So between what you got going on, after the cross break ride, you will actually have some options of what to do from here to here, time to time. So yeah, a deck that gives you a lot of options. That does not come by really too oftenly these days. Especially that it's a somewhat older deck that's expected to not really do too well compared to everything else. And yeah, so that right there, Dragoons, was my current Kagero Rebirth deck profile. Now there are some changes I'm going to be doing with this deck in the near future, but nonetheless, I am happy with how the build is. I'm happy with the choices I'm doing. I'm happy with some of the ideas I got going on. And yes, I am still looking for 1 more Ace. If you Dragoons happen to have an extra Ace on you that you don't mind parting off, let me know so I don't have to spend some money, and we can work out a trade or deal right there. And yeah, so with that being said, let me know what Dragoons think about this deck profile in the comment section down below, and I will see Dragoons around. Hope you Dragoons enjoyed this video. Please do a like and a favorite if you did, and share this video with other people. It really helps me out a lot. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr. Subscribe to become part of the Dragon Legion Alliance. And I will see you Dragoons another day. Christian Dragoon, signing out. Peace.